Okay, moving on to local streets, that's primarily just a minor true-up. We're going to add $600 to the fund balance. I'm reducing a transfer in from the general fund a little bit, which is netting $4,400, and then the expense decreased by $5,000. Moving on to the recreation fund, net change is zero. Revenue decrease of $20,000. And revenues are down 20 and expenses are down 20. And that's primarily due to program cuts. Took out 20,000 in revenue and a like amount in expenses. Moving on to cable TV. Fund 285. The revenues will increase by $18,275. And that's tied in with increase on cable contracts, and expenses increased $71,000, and that's the ties back to the studio rehab we had here recently, where Paul's making some upgrades to the studio. Net change is a reduction of the fund balance by $50,326. And then the final fund that I'm going to adjust will be the pension fund. And there I'm increasing revenues by $20,000 and the expenses also by $20,000. And the $20,000 is coming from the general fund. Just so you know, last year the pension fund, the expenses were $348,000. This year so far, $337,000 once it's amended. So down slightly. And that's all I have on the budget adjustments this evening. If there's any questions?
Motion to approve.
Support.
All right, motion's made, support. Questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Member Krebs?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Foley?
Yes.
Kinsfather?
Yes.
And Mayor Cedar.
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Reports of administration, Mr. Booth.
Okay, I'd like to give an update on the St. Clair Highway. And last week I received 3 options for tieback systems that would brace the seawall. Let's go over the 3 options quickly, and then I have a 4th that I'll briefly go over as well as what the plan is through spring. First option, and by far the most expensive, is a A-frame brace that would be on the river side of the wall. Piles would be driven down next to the wall into rock. The cost of the steel on this is approximately at $480,000, with installation costs bringing the cost of this project to about $750,000. There's another method where they would do what's called an incline tieback anchor, which would be drilled and grouted into the rock as well. I believe the angle, I can't recall if he said it was a 45-degree angle through the wall down into the bedrock. There'd be 20 to 34 anchors depending on the rock strength. Estimated cost for this option is $600,000. The third option is a continuous sheet pile deadman wall, and it would be at least 40 feet away from the current sheeting that you see there now, which would be towards the DPW facility. The wall itself would be 6 to 8 feet in depth, and the estimated cost for this option would be about $300,000. This is the least costly option, but there are issues with the railroad right-of-way, and there could be some additional movement with this system.
Where would that go again?
It would go, you have the seawall now, which is near the water. The road, it'd be about 20, maybe 20 feet on the other side of it, between the railroad and the road itself. And what they'd do is they'd drive another seawall in, and then they'd tie back to it. So those are the 3 options I received last week. I have another option that I'm looking at, and I'm sure there's probably others, but this is another one. This was used in Macomb County. And apparently the road conditions were similar. I've asked for additional information on this project, and I'll follow up with council once I receive the data back. Moving on to the plan. The current plan for St. Clair Highway is to remove the cold patch that we currently have in there and replace it with asphalt. This should get us through the winter. In the event if there is too much movement, we will remove all the asphalt and replace with stone until spring. So that's where we're at, and again, I'm looking at different options.
What do you see for, or estimate as far as costs for the last option you talked about, just to get us through the winter?
Doing the asphalt work could be, doing some of that would be done on our own, and that's about $1,000, maybe $1,200.
So cut it out.
No, this is just taking the cold patch that's in there now, removing it, and putting asphalt back in, and feathering it both towards the water, and then also getting rid of the hump that's going up towards when you're heading out of town.
So build it up then?
Yes. It's a gradual.
And do you think you've got about $1,500 in it?
The material's relatively cheap, and the DPW guys are going to do it. They've done some other patches around town.
And do you think that'll take us through the winter?
I don't know, Mike.
Well,
I'd love to say yes.
it's not, for all the money we got out there right now, that's not a whole lot of money for a patch. But
No, there's that option, or else we could secure an outside asphalt firm to come in and do it, and that might be more in the range of $5,000 to $7,000. I can try either one. I think it's worth a shot to do the asphalt prior to moving right to the stone.
well, my gut feeling would be to just leave it till spring, close down one side, leave it to through traffic, and then in spring reassess it. But but if you're going to spend $1,200 to $1,500 on it, I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to throw a whole lot of money at it.
No.
You're not going to throw another $600,000 in that hole.
No.
How much is that wall moved?
They said it was going to move up to 6, and it's over the 6.
Any idea how far? I mean, if we could keep putting weight on it, isn't it just going to keep pushing it out?
That's a concern, yes.
Well, and the other point too, we haven't gone through a freeze thaw yet. We saw movement when we had all that rain there. What's going to happen this winter?
That is the point of contention. We just don't know what's going to happen. But we do know this. What we do know is that what's out there right now is just bad.
All right.
We need to do something. And for $1,200, if it's $1,200, if we can send our guys out there and level it out, make it safe, and if it keeps sinking, we have to go back and take it out and put rock in there, we have to do that.
No, I know
Everybody knows there's.
I know we got to do something.
We gotta do
I mean,
something, yeah.
We're going to keep putting weight on that.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point before that wall decides to go over to Pine Shores?
I don't know. Did Lamb address that question?
At this point, they don't believe it's going to fail, the wall itself.
How far did they say it was going to perhaps move to begin with?
4 to 6 inches, wasn't it?
4 or 6, and it's moved 6.
That wall has moved, deflected 6 inches, they said.
It has moved over the 6-inch mark, yes.
Over?
So, Mike, are you recommending the $1,200 repair, or are you saying,
Hate to recommend anything, but yes, I think we should try the 1,200, and then if you don't, if it doesn't seem as though it's going to work, I mean, obviously you don't want to throw $1,200 away either. Maybe you just move right to the stone, but it's obviously cheaper to maintain the asphalt
It's not enough.
in the winter if we can maintain it and it stays, rather than the stone.
Well, I think the Plan B, though, we really got to start thinking about, do we move that road, the roadway itself, and move it towards the cemetery, towards the DPW yard, and try to work out some deal with the railroad, for the crossing. I know that's for the beginning. I think I asked that question, did we consider that? And I always have heard that it was a more expensive, but more importantly, it was a more difficult thing to arrange with the railroad. And, I don't know. I just think we have to look at that plan too. as an option during, we're buying time
Mhm.
with this approach, but, to put all options on the board and see if we could do that and make it, shift it over 30, 40 feet, the whole road over that far.
So you're suggesting by the time we're done, we're going to end up with more than 3, 4, 5? We're going to have multiple different options to look
Options,
at
yeah.
and say,
If in truth that we can't get the railroad to work with us on that, but, I think if we lay our reasons out for them, maybe they would support us and make that alteration too.
So you're asking for approval to spend the 12? Is that what you're, is that what I'm?
I don't know that I really need to. I
So
mean,
you're
I can
just
spend that amount. I just
informational? Okay.
want to share it with you, and if you had different viewpoints,
Okay.
please share them. So, okay, that's all I have.
All right.
Well, wait, this has to be done though by the October, doesn't it? Don't they?
November.
Usually around hunting season, it's November 15th, is it?
Oh, okay, all right.
Seems as though when it rains heavy, there is some movement, yes, and that's when it does
Who
it.
come up with these new numbers to fix it?
Mr. Lamb, 3 of them?
That's the original guy?
Mhm.
It's still moving, so we're gonna put some more asphalt on it. What about just tearing off what's there and putting some 22A down there, level it off and let it go?
We may end up doing that.
I mean, if it's moving, I don't understand, you put asphalt on, you gonna get what you got now? With stone, you keep adding?
Anything else? All right.
That's it.
Mr. Downey, you have anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
City departments, boards, authorities, commissions? All right, no unfinished business. Number 8, new business proposal for 2012-13 property and liability insurance program. Mr. Booth, is this you? Or?
You taken, and if Janice would like to add anything, the city's insurance renewal came in at $82,997. This is a 6.2% reduction from last year's premium. Next year, the city will look at going out to bid on this as well. I don't know if Janice, you could indicate, we had, I think, a 60-day window where we needed to notify them prior to expiration. So we chose to stay with them this year, MML.
We're gonna get a check back for 14 grand if we renew with them.
Is that this year? Okay.
These are the same folks that denied us a claim for the highway?
That's correct.
How's that going?
But your intent to rebid it next year, right?
Yeah,
Because I know there's a couple of firms that have asked that Nickel and Saff and some
Nickel and
of those
Saff has
others.
contacted me, yes.
Yeah.
We're still a ways away from getting a ruling on that.
We are, Councilmember Burns, yes. My best estimate would probably be late December, early January at the earliest.
I make a motion to approve the insurance renewal.
Support. All right, motion made, supported, questions? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? All right, let's go to B, request to place dumpster in public right-of-way, Cargill Salt, 916 South Riverside Avenue.
No D, so I'll take a stab at that one. The, both B and C are variance requests that were, probably should have been in with the last group that we approved. We ask that a variance be given to Cargill Salt, 916 South Riverside Ave. For the first item.
But there's no photos or anything to go by. so.
No, I took a ride back there. It's a really nice dumpster, actually. The problem is that I think is that they're too close to the
Right away.
To
right away.
Second, Second Street, isn't it?
Yeah, Second
Yeah.
Street.
I make a motion to approve. Cargill.
Support.
All right, motion made, supported, questions, comments? Yes, sir.
I can have Mr. Bully here at the next meeting, and he can explain how he missed that one.
I believe it has to be 15 feet away from the right of way. Like mine, that's right on the property line. And that's what Cargill's does too, I believe.
It's gotta be 15 feet. from
Supposed to
property.
be 15 feet from the property line.
I was just curious, right, what we call it during inspections.
I think there's one other that you had brought to Mr. Bullier's attention as well, that we've added to the list. Not for tonight's discussion, but, so if there's any others that anyone spots, please let us know.
See, the whole issue was brought up when that first dumpster appeared in the parking lot of the mall. And that continues to be a nuisance. I think it's because the dumpster itself is too small, but it's not being enclosed with the covers at night. And if you go by there on Saturday or Sunday, it's completely overfilled. And so, I appreciate that there's, reasons for these, the way these rules are set up. But the reality is that I don't think the dumpster law is effective as it is. And that the dumpster in particular, the one in the parking lot of the Riverview Plaza is the culprit. And I get phoned in complaints from residents that are picking up 50, 100 feet away, the debris that comes out of those. So that's my concern. I'm really torn how to vote for these things, people asking for variations and exceptions, when in fact the law is flawed as it is, and there definitely needs to be more enforcement. So at this point, I can't see granting anybody any slack on this one until we get a handle on the enforcement.
With any dumpster in any business, there is certain maintenance that has to be done. If it's a housekeeping issue at the mall should be addressing that.
Agree?
We have a new code enforcer. Maybe this is a priority that he can look at.
Mr. Dreschen, I would recommend, I think the first step is to get everyone either in compliance totally, or if you're going to give them a variance, you would give them the variance and then enforce the rules after that. I mean, if you have some that are, some that aren't, then you're looking at two different issues that you have to deal with.
And I agree with Mr. Laporte's comment that, living by the letter of the law isn't really the spirit, and that's where this is falling apart. We aren't getting, I think, out of that code what the city needs.
I think it'll be interesting to have Mr. Boyd here next week, because I sat and talked to him probably for 45 minutes about these two issues. And he seems to be of the opinion that he thinks that we are getting compliance, and there's things are coming together for this dumpster enforcement. The problem is like Cargill's, their dumpster's been there for however long, and I'm not saying that just because it's there it's right, but if you go back and look at it, it's really nicely done, and that Second Street is not an issue as far as visibility or anything like that. So we'll get Mr. Boyd here next week and let him give us more insight on it, but for now,
Well, should we table this until he shows up for this? Are we gonna continue voting on these things?
Well, I think the motion's been made and supported, hasn't it?
Yes.
So we're going to call the roll, and if we have to address it at a future point, we can certainly do that, unless there's any other comments. All right, call the roll on this, please.
Member Laporte?
Yes.
Burns?
No.
Foley?
Yes.
Kinsfather?
Yes.
Krebs?
Yes.
And Mayor Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll go to C. Request for variance for commercial dumpster requirements, the Voyager, 525 South Riverside Avenue. Well, you have before you a letter from a Mike Laporte. I've informed my dumpster enclosure is not conforming to the ordinance of side yard setback, which is 15 feet. Due to the small area on the north side of my building, I cannot meet the required setback. At this time, I'm informally requesting a waiver from City Council to required side yard of 15 feet. Tell us about this, Mike.
It sits right on the property line. It's fenced. It's got a gate on it.
Motion to approve.
Support.
All right, motion made and supported. Any questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Member Burns?
No.
Foley?
Yes.
Kinsfather?
Yes.
Krebs?
Yes.
Laporte?
Can I vote on that or?
You have to abstain.
Oh, thank you. I abstain.
Mayor Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you. We'll go to D, issuing special events permit for St. Peter's Lutheran Church Oktoberfest. Marty Green's out here. Oh, Chief's up here. But Marty Green's here if there's any questions. All right.
I'm in request for a special events permit for the St. Peter's Lutheran Church is requesting approval to host their annual Oktoberfest Church Festival from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, October the 13th, 2012 at the St. Peter's Lutheran Church. All the necessary documents have been received and are in compliance with city ordinance. I respectfully recommend approval for this event.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion made, support, questions?
It's the same setup as last year, isn't it?
Correct. Thank you, Your
Any
Honor.
questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll go to number 9, claims and accounts for September 7 and 13, 2012.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh,
I was talking to him, I didn't know if he had questions for the
No.
audience or not.
We're on claims and accounts right now. All right,
Is there a motion?
Yes, there was
I'll
motion.
support.
all right, motion made, support, questions, claims and accounts? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 10, public comment questions. Anybody out in the public have anything tonight?
I do have.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to bring it to the attention to the council that on October 3rd, from 8:30 to 3 p.m., our city police department, along with Jeff Freeland's Homeland Security, will be hosting a mock disaster training. It's going to be held at the Ed Smith's Marina, and it's going to be training for all the area departments. We're going to be having a scenario that they're not really telling us everything yet, but it's going to be something that anti-terrorists will be bringing some kind of hazardous material from Canada, and we will then see how it unfolds and learn from our training for that whole day. So you might hear some sirens through town where agencies will be coming to respond.
October 3rd.
October 3rd, what, did you have a timer?
Yeah, 8:30 till 3 p.m.
And that'll be at the old marina?
at the, yeah, River Bend's Marina.
Cool.
Well, that's where it's gonna take place there, so we don't have a, downtown to, all the people stuff. But the training is for how we're gonna be reacting in case something like that ever happens in the future.
Thank you, Chief.
Hey, while you're there, Chief, I don't know, is it okay if sure, it's okay. Homecoming parade, were we supposed to talk about that tonight?
Homecoming parade,
Yes,
I haven't got any paperwork when they want it, or
okay.
nothing has been sent to our department.
I thought it was coming before us tonight because there's not another meeting before the homecoming parade.
Oh, and they've done that before. They
They've
forget
done
to
that
get their
before.
paperwork
Yeah.
in.
Right. I believe they did submit the request for the event,
I've not seen anything on our side.
but
Yeah,
I don't even know when the date is gonna be.
can't answer that either.
Oh.
But, okay.
It kind of changes. Sometimes they want it to come down from the Lutheran church. Sometimes they just want to go around the mall.
Okay.
And we've told them several times that, give us all a heads up. But I haven't, but maybe Janice has got something I haven't.
Do you know the date, Jan?
no, I'm sorry, I don't.
I know it's in October usually.
It's a month away, I think.
It's kind of hard for us to.
Yeah,
When's the Marine City football game? That's a homecoming, right?
yeah, that's 2 more home games, so,
think it's October 13th, it's the same night as our Oktoberfest.
okay. All right.
So there is a meeting.
Yeah, there is a meeting.
Yeah.
And we'll be
All right.
here next time then.
All right.
Thanks, Chief.
All right.
Thanks, Chief. Stay tuned. Any other public comment?
I got just one question. I seen in the paper, the minutes of a special meeting you guys had 2-3 weeks ago. You went in closed session, come out, took some action. I didn't like nothing on what that was.
Does anybody remember?
Taken?
No, I don't
Some
even.
litigation, you guys come out, took action, and told the attorney to do something.
That was when,
Yeah, we authorized council to negotiate, remember? Is that a secret?
No, I don't, I'm trying to remember what it was. When was it, Bill?
it was on a Wednesday.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
That was on the tax.
Tax abatement, the property,
That was a
personal property.
Oh, John McNamee?
Yeah,
Yeah.
personal property.
Pay a check or something. Can we talk about that?
I guess I don't know what, I was not present.
Yeah, McNamee.
Yeah.
We authorized you to make a check, pay that.
Yeah. We can-
You can disclose that?
Yeah, we can disclose that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Spartek. And if you remember, Spartek challenged their personal property tax out there. It was a crazy case that went to, did it go to the Supreme Court?
Yes, Michigan Supreme Court.
Do you want to take this?
I'll do my best. There was a case that was filed in the Michigan Tax Tribunal by Spartek Polycom that made its way through the Michigan Court of Appeals and ultimately the Michigan Supreme Court. Based on the ruling from the Michigan Supreme Court, outstanding issues between the city and Spartek Polycom that weren't a part of the Michigan Tax Tribunal case were attempted to be resolved by Spartek Polycom's attorney and the city's tax tribunal attorney. And I believe that special meeting was requested by the city's tax tribunal attorney to negotiate and perhaps resolve these outstanding claims with Spartek Polycom.
That's about it.
Yeah, we had to make them an offer before X date, or it would have been the full-blown amount with interest and so forth.
This whole process, the Michigan Tax Tribunal process, would have been reinitiated for the years that weren't a part of the original Michigan Tax Tribunal case. And in order to forestall that litigation process, both sides were trying to reach an accord based on the guidance they'd gotten from the Michigan Supreme Court on the previous case.
Not mentioned, making an offer, that money going in or money coming out?
Going out.
Going out.
Just how much going out?
City's paying?
City's paying, yeah. Yeah, we lost the first case, and then they came back for a couple years that they missed. So, kind of in the bag that we're gonna lose the second case.
Anybody else?
Whistles on the water, September 29th. Everybody heard the horns blowing the other night?
Heard them practicing
Yeah.
last Wednesday.
Solid 30 minutes. From 9
Janice?
AM to 6 PM on the 29th, Saturday.
Same weekend as St. Mary's Festival, right? Janice needs election workers. You want to?
I do. I am looking for election workers for the November 6th election. We have a great group of people, but we need some additional people because of the size of the election this year. You need to live in St. Clair County, but not necessarily within the city. Be 18 years of age, registered to vote, and we would require you to attend a half-day training session in October. We have a good crew now, but this is also a time to join them, be a part of the election process, and meet your neighbors. And the pay's not really half bad. It is a long day. The city has 3 precincts and an absentee counting board. There are applications available on the city's website or at City Hall.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else?
Hearing nothing, Your Honor, I make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Careful going home.